Hi, I'm Numbert.
And I'm Sarge.
And you're watching Battle Gamer News.
Today we're reviewing Section 8.
In Section 8, you play as Alex Cord, a generic armored super soldier in a generic future.
The plot is about as uninteresting as it could possibly be. The story is vague and unoriginal.
You are fighting against an opposition group called the Arm as a member of the 8th Armored Division. They never really tell you why you're fighting or who these people are, so I guess that's the most realistic part of the game.
What little plot there is told through brief and often pointless cutscenes that only seem to pull you farther from the game.
Aside from the cutscenes, there is some dialogue while you're playing, but essentially it always boils down to go here, shoot this, or run there and destroy that.
In the end, the plot was a huge negative factor for the game, and quite frankly this is one of the few games that might have been better off with no single player. So the plot gets a 4 out of 10.
The graphics in the game are for the most part okay, but there are definitely a lot of glaring errors.
The character models are pretty good, but for the most part there's one model that's used over and over.
The particle effects in this game are especially bad, and there are several areas where things won't end properly.
The animations are okay, but sometimes the AI will use the same animation over and over, making it look awkward and unpolished.
The level design is also a huge negative. The maps are ill-made with huge portions of area with nothing in them, and just general poor layout.
There are some good things like detailed weapons and a very cool sprinting mode, but overall there are just too many errors to ignore, so the graphics get a 6 out of 10.
The gameplay of Section 8 was obviously trying to do some cool things, but ultimately they failed at most of them.
Section 8 is a first-person shooter with an emphasis on ranged weapons.
The main reason the gameplay fails is because of the poor controls.
It did some really silly things, like putting sprint on a timer instead of a button, and making jump the left bumper. Who does that?
A lot of the controls seem really slow and unresponsive, especially when you're coming in or out of sprint mode.
The aiming is also really bad and hard to line up, to the point where they had to add a lock-on mode.
The single-player and multiplayer modes are virtually indistinguishable from one another, and there is really no variety within the game.
There is an instant action mode that is pretty much the same, but they do offer a swarm mode where you're outnumbered, which is somewhat interesting.
The overall gameplay just wasn't very good. It had control problems and was unresponsive, landing at a poor 5 out of 10 for gameplay. Section 8 may have had some good ideas, but it just didn't pull through, and it definitely needed more polish.
Control issues, bad plot, and mediocre graphics have doomed Section 8 to a terrible 5 out of 10.
Thanks for watching Battle Gamer News. Subscribe and check back every week for more game reviews.